Hello everybody, welcome back to Throttle Grotto. Finally got the fuel pump in and we're going to put it in the 928 and see if that has actually fixed the problem. All right everyone, so it took a few more days to get it in than I thought, but I have a new fuel pump. One thing I learned, for those of you that are familiar with the Bosch 044 pumps, which is kind of the tag name for all of these style of fuel pumps, there's a whole bunch of different ones, and they have different flow rates, they have different configurations and diameters and all that stuff. So this one is 0580464206, which is that right there. And this one is actually specified for the 928. One thing you'll notice is that the pump, it's in this oily bag. I don't know why it's in an oily bag, but I guess that means it's a genuine one. The pumps are a lot smaller in diameter than they used to be. So they have this sleeve that goes around it to make up the diameter difference. Why they just didn't make the pump the right size, but anyway, it's probably cheaper to make smaller housings than bigger ones. So I'm going to get this thing prepped and we're going to throw it in the car and see if it's fixed. All right, so one concession or compliment I will give the 928 is that the fuel pump is extremely easy to get to. There's a cover that goes over this and it slips in here and it bolts in up underneath the bumper. You don't have to take the bumper off to get to it. You don't have to drop a fuel tank. It's all right here. So it'll be a fairly easy thing to swap out, which is nice. It's nice to get a sort of a break every once in a while. Now remember, when you undo this main one, there's going to be system pressure. So like, don't put your face over it, or like, just be careful that you don't get a snoot full of gasoline. All right, so a few key things to remember is these are two different sizes. The nuts for the terminals are definitely a 7mm socket and an 8mm socket. So hopefully that saves you some time going underneath the car. And I think they do that so you don't screw up the size, because they only go on, like the power feed will only go on one way. So nothing but surgical precision here at Throttle Grotto. Hey, it's the grotto. It has to be kind of ghetto. So basically all we're going to do is just going to match up the terminals here. It seems like it would be pretty hard to install them incorrectly, but having the pump out and on the bench makes it a little easier to match, just to make sure that you've got everything oriented correctly. So the new terminal goes on with a crush washer, and this one goes here on this end there, and then the end of the power terminals gets this one with the new crush washer. And I guess one of the things that it looks like they did is they gave you a little place to put a wrench on here so you can actually hold it there, because it's going to be really difficult to get a wrench down in there to hold the pump steady, but you can put a wrench there. And they've labeled the terminals on the new pump versus the old pump. There you can see the diameter difference. So make sure you keep the nuts if you have them available because you'll need to reuse them for the new pump. Okay, our fittings are all tight. We have our sleeve, and we're just gonna reinstall this. Look at how nice that went right back on there. I'm also gonna try to orient the pump this time to give myself a little better opportunity for installing the wires, because it didn't seem like that was very easy to get to before. All right, so before I put the cover on, I'm just gonna cycle the key a few times, make sure that the fuel pump powers up and doesn't leak, and I can put the cover back on, and then that part will be done. So it's definitely a lot quieter. I don't hear the pump. I don't know if you watched the previous video, but like this far away from the car with it running, I could hear the pump over the exhaust. Now it's as quiet as it should be, so that's a good sign. Seems like it's idling pretty good. Seems like it comes back. It's healed itself. No, but seriously, the fuel pump did help a bunch of the drivability issues. It's still slow, but it does seem to be to a point where now it's reliably drivable, which is kind of amazing. I don't think the car has actually been reliably drivable up to this point. Can you believe that? That sticker's coming off. Yeah, somebody should call the YouTuber that had these stickers made and have him leached. But yeah, we got a nice quiet fuel pump back here now and a decent idle. It actually does rev up like it's supposed to, which is great. Now I have more problems. So let me get this back in the garage and I'll tell you what the rest of the problems are. Okay, so good news. The fuel pump did cure several of the running issues that I was having with the car. Most notably, no power at like 3,000 to 6,000 RPM. So that's great. So the problems I still have with the car, I still have a transmission issue. I can't shift from fourth to third or second. I can't go, like, I've got to fix that. So I've got to fix that, and I've got to fix the clutch. The clutch is terrible. Like in reverse, the whole car just bangs and shakes. And it hops and skips a little bit in the forward gears too. So getting the clutch fixed, getting the trans taken care of are two huge projects on this car that I'm probably not going to do till winter. Because honestly, at this point, I've put so much effort and headache into the car. I do want to enjoy it a few times before I take it apart again. So hopefully this helps you guys if you're looking to replace your fuel pump. hopefully helps you get the right one, and hopefully helps solve some of your running issues on your 928. So that's all from Throttle Grotto. Until next time, get out there and work on something.